As in a many-hued flaming inner dawn, her life's broad highways and a sweet bypass lay mapped to her sun-clear recording view from the bright country of her childhood's days when she was in Mathura, in the palace of her father, and the blue mountains of her soaring youth, and the paradise groves and peacock wings of love when she meets Satyavan in the forest. To joy clutched under the silent shadow of doom, Narad is coming and telling that he is going to die in a last turn where heaven. So this could be the brief history which Savitri is recollecting on this particular day of Satyavan's death. In the context of the immediate story, that is how one could link up. But then there are other things also. He says, flaming inner dawn. It is not just the memory or the mind or the brain which is recapturing. It is the inner memory which is coming to a broad highways and sweet bypass lay mapped to a sun-clear recording view, as vivid as the light of the sun from the bright country. So here you have got a kind of a combined picture of Savitri growing up as a girl in the palace, and she is coming now on the fated day. Or you can also say that Savitri is coming on the evolutionary scene when she sees that man has lifted the burden of his fate and now she has to step into action. So she is now therefore reviewing the entire cosmic past, the evolutionary past which has brought her to this point. So you have to read the sentence simultaneously at both the levels, you see. Savitri is carrying in herself the whole world. She is enduring a terrible load, the load of entire mortality, but more specifically, the load of the dreadful past. That is the important thing. The whole past she is bearing with her. The universal mother's love is hers. That is just why Savitri can make her own personal misfortune a poignant sword, a sword that shall decisively strike the evil that exists at the afflicted roots of life. In the previous canto, we have got this thing, but now she stirred, her life shared the cosmic load. That is the cosmic load she is sharing. At the summons of her body's voiceless call, her strong, far-winging spirit traveled back, far-winging spirit traveled back into the past, back to the yoke of ignorance and fate, back to the labor and stress of mortal days, lighting a pathway through strange symbol dreams across the ebbings of the seas of sleep. She was in the state of somnolence. They are now ebbing through seas of them. She is becoming more and alert, awake to her work, you see. Across the ebbing, the seas of sleep. Her house of nature felt an unseen sway. Illumining swiftly were life's darkened rooms, because the memory has come up. Illumining swiftly were life's darkened rooms, and memory's casement opened on the hour, and the tired feet of thought approached her door. The thoughts which were wandering and wandering and wandering, they got tired, and now they are approaching the door of Savitri. All came back to her, etc. We should see that thing. For long eons, Savitri was oblivious, was unconscious of all this. She lay asleep in the lap of Earth's original somnolence. She had identified herself as somnolence. She was listless, was inert, was unaware of things. But then, like a mute, unspeaking shadow, like a shadow which cannot speak, like a mute, unspeaking shadow, a faint remembrance started moving. She is now recollecting the entire past. Savitri put her hand upon her bosom. She recognized the age-old ache lingering there, the pain in her bosom. But she knew not why really that ache had come. Why that ache is there, she does not know. She recognized that there is ache in the body, but what is the cause of that ache, She does not know yet, you see. She recognized the age-old pain. Where from it had come, why it had come at all. But with the opening of memories windows, Savitri has now the memories windows have come out, opened out. With the coming of another sight, the occult sight, a new perspective has come into her view. The past has started speaking to her. Yes, 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 this is what. She is calculating. There is the body's voiceless call. There is the continuing sensation. There is the ancient ache that will not allow Savitri to remain in a state of eternal somnolence. Allow her to be inattentive and listless. Savitri has a work to do and she must set herself to do it. Savitri stirs. She lifts up the burden of her fate. Her life is going to share the cosmic load. Action has to begin, and the body's voiceless call has summoned Savitri towards it. At the summons her body's voiceless call. See, this is most important. The ache, the physical ache. It is that which is making Savitri realize that she has a work to do here. Body's ache. He uses bodies particularly, you see, body's ache. In other words, it is not the troubling mind which will bring Savitri into focus. It is not the violent, vital or life force which will bring her into action, but it is very physical which is bringing her into action. Savitri's work is connected with the physical, not with the vital, not with the mental, but the direct physical itself. At the summons her body's voiceless call, a strong farming spirit travels back. So it is the body now which is making Savitri alert that she has to do something for the body. In other words, the entire work of Savitri is concerned with the physical. The body is feeling the ache, the pain, and she has to solve that issue. Why that pain is there, that she has to look into and do something about that, you see. You see, that is what we got here. All came back to her. When she is now recollecting the entire past, all came back to her. Earth and love and doom. Earth created as a significant center for the purposes of evolution. Love, the divine who has taken the plunge into the inconscience so that the evolution can begin. That is Satyavan. So that the evolution can begin. That is Satyavan. And doom, the opposition which comes from the void. It is these three disputants, the ancient disputants, encircled her like giant figures wrestling in the night. The goddess from the dim inconscient. See, all these things, goddess from the dim inconscient born, all the three, earth, love, doom. They are born because of the inconscience there, you see. Awoke to struggle and the pang divine. That is the body's ache, the pang. The divine himself is feeling that pang. And the shadow of a flaming heart at the somber center of the dire debate, the guardian of unconsoled abyss, inheriting the long agony of the globe, inheriting the long agony of the globe, a stone still figure of high and godlike pain. That is the body's ache, pain, the divine ache, the divine pain. He is there in the body itself. He is stationed in the physical itself so that the physical does awake to its reality, to its divine nature. Stared into space with fixed regardless eye, that saw, grieves, etc. In other words, the entire focus is on the godlike pain. That is what we have got here also. Savitri starts traveling back in time, back to the point where began time. She is moving into the deepest past whence commenced history. Savitri is moving back to the zero moment. Savitri must find the evil that is present at the roots of life. She must meet it. Even as Savitri is stepping into the forgotten past, she is beginning to see the old events and old things, these remaining stockpiled in the darkened rooms of her memory. But now these rooms are getting slowly lighted. Memory's windows have opened, and Savitri moves backward in time and sees the oppressive contents in the room, the oppressive content which actually need not exist. As the sight deepens, Savitri is awaking. Savitri sees present there the three ancient disputants, is what we have seen just now. Savitri also sees in the shadow of her flaming heart the figure of high and godlike pain. In the shadow of her flaming heart, the heart is casting a shadow, and in the shadow, what does she see? A high and godlike pain in the heart shadow. In the heart shadow, you see. God of pain, staring with large, regardless eyes. He staring into fathomless space. He is a stone still figure, a white stone staying in the darkness of inconscience. And he sees with the eyes that see nothing. He sees the stone. Yes, the eyes are there. They don't see, but because it is a statue. And he sees with the eyes that see not things. He sees only the timeless depths of grief, but sees not the goal of life. With that unseeing sight, he is carrying out his official duties. God of pain has a certain function to do and is carrying on that duty, that work he sees him. What is the work? Unless certain things are got done here yogically in an occult way, he is not going to oblige you at all. He will insist that this thing will be got done, but sees not the goal of life. With that unseeing sight, he is carrying out his official duties. He afflicted by his harsh divinity, harsh being a stone figure. For Savitri's unwept tears, he waits daily. Savitri is full of concern about his grief, about his pain, and therefore he unwept tears for that. He remains unappeased. He is discontented because Savitri has to find an answer to man's fierce question. Unless Savitri finds the answer to the question of man, he will not remain happy. He will not remain appeased at all. Why? Life of this mortal is accompanied by the. What is man's question? Man's question is life is always accompanied by death. Why? Is it necessary that it should be always like that? Life accompanied by death, is it a must? That is the question. And Savitri has to answer that thing. And unless Savitri answers that question, this God of pain will remain always harsh until then. This is the insistence of the shadow. God of pain's harsh divinity urging an answer. Savitri has to find out. Savitri, who has been here since the beginning of the earth, lay quite long in the state of somnolence. She lay in her darker, thoughtful sister's room, but Savitri has to begin again the continuing sacrifice, etc. etc. Now, the sacrifice has begun directly under the eternal hand. The sacrifice of suffering and desire. Earth offers to the immortal ecstasy, began again beneath the eternal hand. Earth offers to the ecstasy a sacrifice. It is that sacrifice has now begun. Begun by whom? By Savitri. Earth is constantly offering it. Began again beneath the eternal hand. It is the divine himself who is kind of doing all these things. Awake, therefore, awake, she endured the moment's serene march and looked on his grain, etc., etc. Savitri must lit the yajna fire, sacrifice, in the darkness of the night, in the dim soul of the night. Savitri must make her life an altar and herself a sacrifice. Savitri has to be the yajna fire. She herself is the yajna fire now of sacrifice. Savitri has to be the yajna offering. The yajna is to deal with the God of pain. He who truly is the God of bliss. God of pain, divine pain. He is actually divine bliss himself, you see, of his own. God of bliss, white statue in multiple folds of inconscience, the divine in the multifolds of inconscience. God of bliss in murkiness of the inconscient world. Savitri cannot remain unmindful, he remaining unappeased. But where the yajna fire is to be set ablaze, yes, Savitri has to make a sacrifice, but where? But the destined place and the destined time, they have already been marked. Yes, in the Shalva woods, in that forest, the destined place, destined time. It is there Savitri has to do the yajna. Smiling dangerous world, in hearing the ignorant cry of living things and the trivial sound, Savitri is holding the sword in her hand, the sword of conquest. The trivial sounds, this is what we got here, you see.